Tēnā tātou, ko Kristen Te Moananui tōku ingoa. I am the Māori Systems Innovator in Healthy Families Waitākere, and I'm the oldest.
Tēnā tātou katoa, ko Hinemoana Te Moananui Collier tōku ingoa, and I am the Systems Innovator for Healthy Families Te Ngira in Hauraki. Ko te puti puti o te whānau, ko te mea o wainga. I'm the middle child.
Ne. Ko te tuatoru, ko Rereahu Collier tōku ingoa. I am the Senior Strategist kaupapa Māori for Healthy Families South Auckland in the Auckland Council side. But we're the three oldest siblings out of Mum's whānau.
The best.
No, it was actually really good. For a while there, it was just me, and I actually don't remember a lot of my childhood, but from stories, Mum would tell me that I would actually beg for siblings. And when Hinemoana was a peepee, I would often be in there watching to see if she was awake. When she was awake, try and grab her. So I loved having siblings. They're my besties, so yeah, no, it's cool.
Nice.
I do. I can't say that it feels the same. I guess, me being the middle child instigated a lot of the raru in our whānau, but like to think was the one that kind of held us together and pulled us together in some cases. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, hence why I would like a big whānau of my own. Yeah, and I believe my tamariki are a reflection of us.
Yeah, for me, because I was always a bit of a roamer, bit of a free spirit compared to my sisters, I guess. But being, I think, growing up, being the only boy of the whare taught me to be very sensitive. And I guess it didn't help that, one of my sisters was quite maro growing up, but I could also seek comfort in the other one. So I'm blessed to have the balance of both sides. There was one, Kristen was the one that would always kind of look after me and have my back, and Hinemoana definitely was the instigator. So, yeah, while it taught me, to be sensitive, it also taught me to be resilient. So I guess that's something that through all of the crying, I guess it helped me to be a little more resilient. So yeah, I guess I'm glad to have had them both as my tuahine growing up in this space. Yeah. Not that I have tamariki of my own, but when I think about our whānau values, ko te ao Māori te mātāmu ai, tētahi mātā pono matua I roto I tō mātou whānau, kia noho pūmau ki te ao Māori. So it's definitely been something that for us as the Te Moananui Collier whānau, to have been raised in, but to be able to share that out, not only in amongst our whānau, but in amongst the communities that we've served as well. And also holding true to, I guess, the authenticity of being Māori. Especially, I guess it's safe to acknowledge the kind of current climate of our whānau Māori at the time, and just the idea of it being a lost cause, I guess. It's coming back at the moment, but for us to be able to champion and lead ourselves, conduct ourselves in te ao Māori, I think that's a really huge value that our whānau had.
Manaakitanga is a massive one in our whānau. Ahakoa kōwai, ahakoa nōwhea, puare ana ngā tatau o tō tātane whare, and it's probably evident in my māmā in terms of, although we are her tamariki, she whāngaid a lot more, and even extended, and even our friends welcomed them and housed them like they were her own tamariki. But manaakitanga be a big one, big value.
Yeah, and that definitely shows in the type of mahi that we've we're currently working in, but also that we've had in the past. Like Mona touched on, our whare was always open to anybody, no matter who you were. But also the work ethic Mum showed us, like a lot of the time we weren't home growing up. We were always at hui, whether it was like through hakinakina, through kura. So just like seeing, like just being busy and just the mahi and that Mum put in both sport with people who needed awhi. We always had this thing where we had to do like good deeds every year, and so like stuff like that has shaped who we are now as well.
Our mahi is, the outreach is for everyone, not only just our ngai Māori. So making sure that we get positive outcomes for all our people. Ako no whānau ko wai. With that, just ensuring all of our mahi is delivered with manaakitanga.
Yeah. Giggled a little bit to the pātai because, you know, by nature, Mum's been a teacher. And in all of her work, she's been a teacher. So when we talk about this thing like legacy, is that by nature, all of us have become teachers of sorts, and that's something that's been reflected in our mahi. I remember there was one time Mum said, don't become a teacher. I know what it's like. It's really hard. Don't become a teacher. Be something better. Kristen ended up getting a teaching degree. Hinemoana became a kaiāwhina at the same kura that Mum was at. And I was very stubborn in not being a teacher, like so much so that I became a librarian. And the irony in that is that I quickly realized that a librarian is essentially a teacher outside of a school. So to circle back, like a legacy that we've created is that we find ourselves in spaces that we want to share mātauranga, we want to pass mātauranga. And just to what Hinemoana said, it's not something that we limit only to our tangata Māori, but to be able to share that with everybody. Yes, I think that's been a huge legacy that is reflected within our whānau.
Another person who hasn't been mentioned, who has been who has shown us quite a lot of values, and that has been these two papa, Ruben. He was quite on us, like growing up, to ensure that we had goals, we had like plans, and like we were able to actually like follow, like set a path and follow it. So then we didn't have to learn things the hard way like he did. So yeah, those sorts of things have helped us a lot as well. Just wanted to acknowledge him too. I think that's helped also with our mahi, like especially in the space, like the innovation space. But yeah, like what they've touched on, like the legacy of like manaakitanga and all of that, like just being Māori, like.
Massive thing for us is whānau, Yeah. And you'll see it from how much our koro, and when Nan was alive, how much they used to follow us. And it's just, and then they're the same with, like, koro still follows Mum, still follows us. Now that he's got moko, he follows them. And how we travel is we travel like a movement. We travel together. So no doubt you will get a glimpse of what that looks like when you come over home. But yeah, Te Moananui he whānau and family of everything here in this whare. I don't know if it's whether we clash with it, it's how we handle it when receiving it.
There's a kōrero that I've learned recently, that goes, mihia te tangata, wirohia te kōrero. And I think it's a good analogy for the way our whānau communicate. I guess communication is probably something that we all agree is important, but our style of communication is very different. Some like to talk a lot, some like to talk loud. For me, I don't talk much, but
I think we all look.
But yeah, I think it's communication. We all agree that communication is important to be shared, but in the way that we approach communication is very different. I guess in saying that, we all have our own unique way of giving manaakitanga as well. While we all sit under this mātāpono of manaakitanga, our way of showcasing that is very different as well. But mihia te tangata, wirohia te kōrero, always encourages us to be honest, and it always reminds us to give mana to the person that we're sharing our kōrero to.
Yeah. Telling on that is hear the message and not the tone. And I think just to kind of elaborate more on what, like, our communication styles are a lot different. Rereahu's got a beautiful way of, he actually does.
Is that on camera? Can I keep that?
Like Kristen is the real sensitive older sister, which is the beautiful thing about sisters. She's got a heart of gold. I am probably a lot harder and like the sharpshooter, and Rereahu sadly is the calm of our storm, and has a beautiful way of articulating and delivering some of our messages. So sometimes we have something to share with our whānau. Like, Kristen would be like, hey, I want to share this with the whānau, and I'm like, yeah, we should say it like this, and Rereahu just wraps it around and says, no, we'll deliver it like this. And I think ultimately the message gets to the whānau just in a nice way. I'll never tell my brother he's the man, but
too late. Too late.
Likewise with my sister, but yeah.
Well, for me, it was my siblings. I was on frontline previously with a NGO, and they had been trying to get me into healthy families for a while. I wasn't actually too confident whether this was the space I would be of value in, but they just kept encouraging me to come. They saw something that I'm still kind of trying to see, but no, so having two siblings who were already in that space who were encouraging me to join, that's what drew me. But also I come from a space of both hauora, working in the dental industry, and then also the education industry. We were brought up in Te Ao Māori, so this mahi had all three. So that was also a huge draw as well.
I was a whānau navigator, and in my time then, I actually worked as a champion alongside our systems innovator at the time, Gypsy Roberts. And it wasn't until there were some shifts in our organisation that she moved up, and gratefully our manager, Mira Martin, and Gypsy felt confident in me moving into that role. But again, I had some background working in the health and the dental industry, working down on the ground. But I think the cool thing about moving into my role was from whānau ora was the importance of taking our whānau voice into those spaces. And it was just that I was having a conversation in our community with some of our tamariki in the park that I took it back to Gypsy, and then that's kind of exactly what our leaders were looking for. So kind of just grateful for the opportunity to have slotted into my role, and love it.
I guess I'm the career journey that I've paved in my time at Auckland Council has been an innovation focus. Through my time in the libraries, I think the first few months I had was a part of a co-design challenge to be able to innovate some of the spaces that can improve services within libraries for Māori. And so over the 6 years that I've been working in council, it's either been kaupapa Māori focused, but also holding an element of innovation. So leaning into healthy families, it was a natural step for me, with a friendly nudge from a good friend of ours, Winnie Hauraki. Through her encouragement, she was the one who brought me into the Healthy Families kaupapa. And similarly to Kristen, I actually didn't feel like I was a good cut for the mahi that I was doing, and it was only through some of the wānanga that I had been in that reaffirmed all of that kōrero. I think things that encouraged me to lean further into innovation that got me into Healthy Families, it's important for me to acknowledge the Auckland Co-Design Lab, and being able to help guide some of our rangatahi in amongst the co-design challenge that we had there to really explore what innovation looked like. And coming into Healthy Families is like a deeper step for me to embed Mātauranga Māori in the way that we innovate. Anō nei he uri nā Māui. Māui being the first innovator of Te Ao Māori, we can look to him as an example for us, to shape the way that we work. Yeah.
I've recently just come back into Healthy Families after being on maternity leave for the last year, and I have to be honest, I learned a lot off my friend who stepped into my role, who's seconded into my role. That's Riley Hayes, and it's awesome. Like, we sit in that space and we think we've got like the gist of how we work, but as soon as we take a step back and there's a different perspective or a different view on it, or that's been applied in our mahi, it just changes. So I guess it's forever evolving, but it changes whenever I sit in like-minded spaces or in spaces with like-minded people. That's kind of how it's kind of changed and developed for me, is coming into the space, stepping out, and then coming and like stepping back into it. Does that answer your question?
I think for me that's a little tricky. I've only worked there maybe about 7 months, so I'm pretty new. I feel like I'm still getting the gist of what actually entails in this mahi, the more real of Healthy Families and the systems change, but also the time that I've come into Healthy Families as well, when our contract is close to being reviewed. So rather than easing into it, there's a little bit more pressure with our initiatives to get it moving a bit more. It's a bit, I would say, unique, kind of learning as I go still.
I think a big thing that I've learned in my time is understanding the power that Mātauranga Māori has in shifting the dial within the spaces that we influence. And while I'm based in the big taniwha of Auckland Council, it's really easy to see how different my way of thinking is to, I guess, the mainstream approach. Looking into those elements of systems change and being able to, I guess, address how Auckland Council can perceive hauora, or how we can approach hauora, is actually a really huge thing. And I think a lot of people lay the assumption that you hit the issue directly on what it is. And one thing that I've come to realize is that there are so many other elements that lead to it. One big thing that it's taught me, I guess, is working in Healthy Families, is that you have to lean deeper into what you're seeing at face value. you have to lean deeper into some of the senses that you may encounter. Like, what are some of the things that you're observing in the space? What are the things that you're hearing around it? How is it making you actually feel? And then trying to explore what those elements are within the mahi that we do, so that you can dive into what's really important for the whānau that we serve. And I guess in a sense I'm blessed. I'm blessed that Auckland Council is such a huge space, and there is a lot of authority that comes with working in Auckland Council, but it's our responsibility in how we serve our communities to be reminded that we're doing this for them. And it's a matter of looking internally to be able to shift those things that will make it easier for whānau outcomes, for hauora aspirations.
Yeah, I love how our mahi has kind of influenced us in a personal set, like in our personal spaces as well, like making changes and shifts in our personal lives in the hopes that we can influence positive changes within our communities. I guess just to set an example for our whānau and then start that way, and hopefully it will have a trickling or and a contagious effect on our wider community. So yeah. I don't think we've ever looked at it that way, eh? We've kind of just like generally applied it across.
Yeah.
Hey, never really. Oh, that's my whakaaro. Rereahu.
There is a big difference in the way that we need to approach our mahi, and I think that's something worth acknowledging. And I think that's where we kind of look into the strategic alignment of the spaces that we're in and we're influencing, because those are what guides us in the work that we can do. But where we provide the support with each other is, again, finding what connects the three of us as siblings, us as whānau, us as Māori. That's an even ground that we can all play on. While we do sit in 3 different spaces in Auckland Council, in the Sports Trust and in Māori health organisations, the space that we do all align closely together is the embedding of Mātauranga Māori. So, yeah, and then really it's only the output that changes. Kristen, being the sporty person that she is, looks at it from that element.
Did I even know what I could have? He did you dirty. No.
Show us a softball throw.